So I'll just write stuff down in my phone, like in my notes. So I had written down, I do not consent to the loop. I am awakened. I complete all soul contracts on earth and in this reality game. I feel the illusion of the mimic or false narratives other than source. I do not worship anyone or anything. I do not consent to false light. So I'm finding there are so many little tricky tricksters around at the moment, so much going on, and we've forgotten that we are creating our reality and we have the power to get rid of any of our unwanted thoughts, our unwanted beliefs, unwanted entities, attachments, anything that no longer serves us. So it's always fun just to write a little list and you can burn it and just write down of what you no longer will accept. And I find it really valuable just to ask for discernment now. Ask your heart chakra to show you what is real, what is true, show you the truth, and show you anything that is of deception or is not for your highest good. Because, you hear so many things out there at the moment of what is good, and we're hearing there's a lot of spiritual people, gurus, obviously in religion, governments, people that are trying to portray themselves as helpful and kind, but really they're part of that dark agenda. So just really put it out there of you just want to see the highest point of consciousness. So you want to see the source energy, source frequency, see the truth rather than believing all the false narratives. And, if there's a guru or a spiritual leader, religious leader that wants you to follow them, says that their way is the only way, then you know that that's either the ego or the false matrix talking to you. So you are the guru, you are the savior, you are the one that you've been waiting for. There is nobody else, because if you start to attach yourselves to someone else, something else out there, then you still get stuck in the false matrix. Like even when people pass, when they die, they can still get themselves stuck in a loop because they're waiting for a savior. They're waiting for a God. They're waiting for Jesus. They're waiting for galactics. They're waiting for angels, archangels. No, we don't need to be waiting for any of these beings. We are so strong, so powerful. We are source. We are all there is. We are creator. We don't need to worship anything outside of ourselves. So, yeah, that is definitely a huge ego thing at the moment with a lot of gurus I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of spiritual, like channelers and things that are channeling negative entities, um, which is a bit creepy sometimes, but it's all part of this game. But if you want to know, is this of the light? Is this of the highest point of consciousness? Is this from source frequencies? Then ask, tune into your heart. What is it telling you? And if you feel deception, if you feel distortion, if you feel the AI mimic coming in, if you feel the false reality mirrors coming in, if it doesn't resonate, if it doesn't feel quite good, then it is a lower frequency. Anything that is from source energy, from the highest point of consciousness, feels good. Like it feels like complete unconditional love, like no judgment at all. Okay, but we have to remember that the false matrix, we're part of it. We're creating it. It's not like it's got us trapped. We're never trapped in the false matrix unless we think we are. So many people say, oh, I've been cursed and, all these terrible things are happening to me because of my ancestors or because of the false matrix or because of the Illuminati, the reptilians, the draconians, even some people say there's archangels that are negative. No, like honestly, it's all I'm hearing an illusion, but it's all like our perspective, our perception, what we want to create. Yes, we can create the negative archangels or the negative fallen angels or the negative AI or the negative reptilian fractions, draconians, um, all of these crazy things. We can create it, but it's up to us now. What do we want to create? So I remember writing this down in my notes. I actually think some of it came from when I was watching an old Bashar clip. So I'll just read this to you guys. So, physical reality is a simulation of our consciousness. So it's not being put upon us. We are not the victims of reality. The blueprint of what we experience in physical reality comes from our belief systems. So, in order to change your life, your emotions, and your thoughts, you need to change your beliefs. So this will change your mindset and your manifestation. So, if you're believing that you have no money, if you're believing you're cursed, if you're believing you're poor because of your ethnicity, if you're believing you have nothing because of your family, we just have to start to reset all of these programs that have been running within this system. So scientists have been exploring the idea of a unified theory of physics. So where they know that all the different physical phenomenon in nature, it all has a single origin. Okay. So it's different. Everything is a different aspect of the one thing. So even all of these negative things are part of us, part of source energy, part of the game of reality. So a lot of people would refer to, they call it, like I like to say, source, the source of where everything comes from. Some people will say God, some people say all that is. There's a large number of names, but it doesn't really matter because they're all extensions of the one thing. I mean, what people call the devil, Lucifer, demons, it's all coming from source. It's all coming from God. I mean, I didn't want to put the thumbnail up of that God is the devil, but basically God is the devil. God is everything. I know that would really trigger some people, but it's everything. It's just playing different perspectives. What can I be? It's almost like source energy is showing me, when you have an imagination as a kid, and you're like playing the goodies and the baddies. Some of you will be the goodies and some of you will be the baddies, and someone will get kidnapped, and all of this stuff is super fun. And Source is just saying it's just like a game, like we're using our imagination to try new things, to play a role, to be something different. So there's no differentiation within all that is. So it's just a different experience. So like it needs, source energy needs something to bounce off. It needs to be something else to see. Basically, the true source is unconditional love, no judgment, just pure incredibleness. But source has to recreate itself. It has to, it's kind of like it's collecting data of what other things it could be. But it's really just imagining itself to be other things. So there needs to be an idea or an experience of other than self. So otherwise, if everything is homogenous, there's no differentiation. So if everything is just the same, how do we know what we are if we're just the same thing? If we're just source the whole time, complete unconditional love, basically nothingness, who are we? what can we be? What are we not? Like this is why we are breaking off into these different perspectives, into good, bad, light, dark, into all this craziness. So there's no sense of self within the one. So if there's just one thing, what are you if you're just one thing? So that's why we break off into source fractions, source fractals, a holographic creation of itself where it is all still oneness, but it's got many different fractions within it. So they must contain the idea of a difference. We are all a little piece of that puzzle, a little bit of a different perspective, so that there is more. Otherwise, there's nothing. Otherwise, there's nothing. So there must be an experience within the one that creates self-awareness and a self-identity. So there is a portion of the one other than itself that experiences itself as apart from itself. So that's what we're doing. We're source, experiencing ourselves as being apart, like not connected to source, but we are a part of source, if you get what I mean. We're thinking we're apart from it, but we actually are a part of source. So we are self-awareness. So we're reflecting back to the one. Like I said, we're sending the data back to source. So we're all creating unique sparks, experiences, and opportunities. So we're appearing to be something different than the one. So something outside of the one. So something less than the one. But in fact, we are all one. That's why we don't need a savior. That's why we don't need to worship anyone. The worship is actually feeding the dark agenda. The worship, these false gods are making everybody worship them. So that's feeding them and encouraging them and giving them energy. We don't need to worship anything or anyone. So it's like we are the mirrors of the universe. So if there were no mirrors or no reflections in the world, then how would we know what we look like? So the idea of creation. So the idea of manifestation is to experience, to explore, to see what we can be. So we are even the multiverse and beyond. So we are everything. So we are the one experiencing itself in every aspect possible. So all of our different points of view allow for the expansion of the universe, although the basic structure of existence never changes. So that's definitely Bashar. This one, I'll just read it again. The universe, although the basic structure of existence never changes. So we're all playing different parts, different points of view, experiencing different things, but the base, like it's like that. If you zoom in on the cells, the molecules, particles, atoms, you go right deep into the quantum realms, it's the same thing. It's all one energy. It's all the same structure. But it's when you start to create more perspectives, then it looks different. But if you really get that strong magnifying glass microscope, then it's all the same. It's all the same energy. So no one on earth was meant to struggle. The belief systems, fear-based responses, and outdated definitions and theories have made us think that we have to struggle. So we can transform dark into light, negative into positive. We have the power to do that. Yourself. You can be having a grumpy day and you just need to think of one thing that makes you feel good and you can completely shift your reality, completely quantum leap, completely change your perspective and create more fun, more excitement, more joy, more abundance. So everything is adding to our soul. So our soul's growth, it expands our consciousness. Everything we're doing expands our consciousness. We may feel like we're what's it called when you're de-expanding? You're like decreasing. We may feel like we're decreasing our consciousness, but at a greater level, we're not, because this is actually more challenging to go deep into the denser energy. As a soul, you need to be very powerful, very strong to be able to create and hold up a false matrix system. That takes guts, that takes power, that takes strength to be able to survive in this reality for so long. But now it's time to thrive. So, I keep hearing lately diamonds are made out of pressure. So we've created something incredible within our soul blueprints. So we are the matrix system. We are the false matrix. It's been created by us. It's been created by our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, our reactions. So when you can handle time and space, you can create your own reality. So if we try to destroy the matrix, we are trying to destroy ourselves. So by understanding how and what the matrix is, we can reframe it. So it can renew, we can renew the matrix. We can revive it. So this is where we talk about the original divine blueprint. The original divine blueprint is also a matrix from a source frequency level, a high love and light, unconditional love level. So we've been holding up this false matrix for so long. We've been trying, lifting up these heavy blocks and bricks. We don't need to do that anymore. We can recreate it into something new. It's just a shift in energy. So we are the network that creates the systems. So by going within, you actually go outside the system. So when you go within your heart, within your own, connect to your higher self, I'm seeing there's so much help for us, but the guides are kind of saying it's time for us to do it ourselves. It's time for us to go within. We don't have to find our inner peace because that is very challenging in this world. It's just, they're saying just a bit of silence for a few seconds even. Doesn't matter, like you still have your thoughts and feelings and beliefs that float past, but it's more about being the observer and the witness now rather than letting those thoughts, beliefs control you. So what we call the matrix. So the matrix can be partially formed from our DNA, from our blood, from the patterns and history of our ancestors. So from the animals and the plants that inherit their information from thousands of years. It's like we've been stuck in a lot of loop systems, a lot of mimic systems that have just been going round and round. And everything's still playing out now without linear time. Everything is still playing now, but we just keep getting stuck in these loops. So it's time to step out of the loop, do something different, something that you haven't done before. So we've had this whole system's been created by advertisements, by education, by religion. And I'm finding spiritualism is becoming, a lot of it's becoming, people are changing the name religion to spiritual now. So there's a lot of science that has created this world, a lot of political structures, a lot of cultures, so-called history, the Bible, and so on. This has all been creating this world, telling us what this world is. So, and it's totally fine. If you like some of it, if you liked some of your teachers, your education, your religion, your governments, that's fine. It's all good. There is no right or wrong. But if you're not happy with it, then shift your focus, shift your perspective, and focus on what you want to create rather than what you don't want to create. I'm finding a lot of people are still focusing on what they don't want. They're looking at everything and saying, I don't want my partner to be like that. I don't want to have no money. I don't want war. I don't want blah, blah, blah. What we need to focus on is what we do want. I do want peace. I do want financial freedom. I do want kind, loving relationships. I do want fun. We really need to shift onto what we do want. So this creates the solidity of physical reality of what we are focusing on. So this is how we learn, this is how we create, this is how we expand. Even if we're learning and experiencing negativity, it all evolves the universe, you know? Like, I mean, you guys have found you've had the worst experience in your life, which has turned out to be a great experience. Like, I don't want to manifest that anymore. I don't want to manifest traumas that the traumas make us stronger. But, sometimes they have. They have really clicked something within us that, wow, okay, this has really changed my life, this negative experience. But just kind of bored with the negative experiences now. But this earth it's filled with challenges. It's just more about flowing with them now, flowing with it and getting over it a lot quicker rather than being the victim and being so dramatic about it, and it's the complete end of the world because something bad happened, So if we want to continue to become more self-aware, unlock new levels of our consciousness again, then we can break through into other dimensions and move past this space-time matrix. So we can collapse time and create a new history. We can quantum leap into a new reality, into a new world. So there are other ways to live. We are meant to transform. This is what we're here for. It doesn't need to be painful or struggle. So we are little seeds in the process of becoming big trees. So to become all that is once more. So we can engineer our reality to make it more positive, creative, and constructive. So we can transmute the negativity back into light. But I love there's the trinity of, there's like a neutral space. So it doesn't have to be light or dark. It doesn't have to be positive or negative. It can be neutral. Neutrality is my favorite space at the moment. It's almost like going into the void of nothingness, the void where it's kind of like source energy, bliss, just complete peace, unconditional love, and just nothingness, basically. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anything. You don't have any bills. But the space of neutrality is there's no judgment. It just is, just be. So, yeah, how exciting. We're creating our new reality. Very exciting. But, yeah, focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. I'm sending you guys good vibes. Join me for more. I am doing a few one-on-one sessions. Check out lilyleaf11.com or check out my Patreon. I'm going to be doing some bonus episodes and bonus crystal Reiki, things like that on Patreon. So, so I don't know, it's going to be heaps going on this year. So super exciting. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. I will see you all in a brand new reality.